and Pan Dulce. How's that? Coffee and Pan Dulce.
Hey, I'm Christian Cano. You're the co-host. My buttons are Moms Demand Action, Gunsmiths Legislation, Healthcare for All, Medicare for All, and also in my heart, Black Lives Matter on behalf of Joe Oldham, who's a guest of ours who passed away last year. That's it.
Hello, this is Jenny James Gunn. I am a community advocate here in Charlotte, North Carolina for LGBT women's rights with the National Organization for Women, gun sense laws with Moms Demand Action, and anything that extends equity to all. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. It is Coffee and Pan Dulce time, and it is December 10th. We are in the last month of the year of a very long year, but it's gone by very quickly.
Yep.
Clearly, we are excited about that.
Yes.
I can only speak for myself. But
no, you can speak for all of us.
I think there's many
We're all
people
giddy.
in the country that have counted down the moments that 2025 would be over, and probably 2026 too. Mm-hmm. I'm sure it'll be the same thing, but on steroids next year. But the quicker we go through, the quicker we get to midterms, the quicker we change around the Congress, especially the House, the better, to at least bring a lot of this craziness to a screeching halt.
Yeah.
And chalk it up to 2 years of stupidity with some kind of balance. And hopefully we can take the Senate and the House, but the House for sure. Yeah. Just to end the crazy. And there's a lot of Republicans now trying to participate in ending the crazy too. So hopefully it'll be a team effort just to bring common sense back to the United States and keep us from being in the hands of oligarchs, But that is going to be the theme of today's show. Yeah. And essentially, Christian, take it away.
Yes, as Gersemi said, welcome everyone. This is Coffee and Pan Dulce. I like like every 2 weeks where I get to throw in my my deeper voice. So
yeah. You got to sprinkle that.
So Gersemi, I got to tell you a story. And I think you probably know this, but anyway, for those who are new to our show or haven't really followed us for a while, I went to Texas Christian University, and in the early years of Texas Christian University, I actually wanted to be a broadcaster or an attorney. Became neither, and so my first class, my radio TV 101, I had this instructor, and it was voice, and it was a time, this is 85 86 1985 86, when broadcasting voices were like they were different. They were like this. They were very artificial, almost like the Spanish voices are today still. And so you would have to read the script every week, and you'd have to do your voice and so forth. My voice was never like this ever, but you had to practice how to talk like this. You had to talk from your diaphragm, they told you, and how you don't breathe when you're talking. And I remember doing that. And then of course the lady voices had to be like, and also this, like kind of whispering and so forth. forth. So it's interesting, just 10, 20 years later, it's a completely different environment where broadcasters' voices are natural voices, just however they are. They can be high, low, they can be whatever they want to. So I just think it's hilarious that I was trained. I wasn't really trained because I never really got past the first two classes. So I was told that I would be better behind the scenes than in front. I guess that was their polite way of saying, you have a terrible voice. So anyway, so now I'm living post-traumatic stress syndrome or something. I don't know.
Do you think between the basic death of the radio, and podcasting and XM radio and all that kind of stuff, do you think, and 24-hour programming too, so like all the stuff that's come with the modern internet era since we were both in school, like I graduated high school in '88 and I didn't go to college. So we both, same time. We were educated pre-internet.
Yes.
And so many of those things died with the internet. And I don't know if that's your take on it, but even cable TV changed significantly in the 1990s with 24 hours.
I know we're going completely off topic, but this is a great conversation. If anyone's listening to this, how much has changed and just in general. And for someone like me who would never fit into those, I was never Hispanic enough. I was never white enough. My voice was never deep enough. Those restrictions have been shattered by people just being able to establish, who they are and so forth. Because there was a time where you could not, the only broadcasters that you saw on camera, and this is even early CNN days, were white men, kind of older white men, and they were kind of the standard. And then came high definition television. When high definition television came in, older white men started to disappear because their skin just does not look well on television, and there's only so many filters. So now you see beautiful skin tones, women, all kinds of different people of color on, because they just look more appealing on television. And so it has opened up a lot of opportunities for so many people that were pigeonholed, I mean, you and I would not have been able to do something like this in the Well, first of all, there's not internet, but we would have had to have scrambled for, let's say, public television. They had the public television, public access. We'd have to do public access, but it really wasn't for people like us. It was for young white guys.
Yeah, or middle-aged white guys.
That's right.
They didn't make it with the networks.
Exactly.
I mean, the proliferation of cable and internet and things of that nature, and the fact that news cycles now are 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, it never stops. And so that creates a lot of jobs, including on camera, and then podcast platforms, of course, just opens the Pandora's box.
Exactly.
Being able to self-publish is crazy. It's crazy. It didn't even exist up until recently.
Yes. So welcome everyone to Coffee Pan Dulce. I'm Christian Cano, one of your co-hosts, along with Gersemi. I'm from All Points, North Carolina. She is from West Hollywood. And, we recorded her show before this, as y'all probably who follow us know this. And she has a great episode about her Christmas, her Christmas list for this year. So watch that show. It's very exciting. And she also talks about you attended a Christmas parade. Is that right?
They do it every year. They've done it, I think, for 90 years or something like this.
Wow.
And we had two actors, celebrities as kind of grand marshals, and then of course they had the TV host, which for this year I can't remember the second one, but the main one was Eric Estrada. Which you almost have to be of a certain age to even know who Eric Estrada is.
Which I am.
Which pretty much everybody below 40 doesn't have any idea, except maybe some pop culture references and a few appearances and a few cameos in some movies. But other than that, he has a done significantly much since the 1970s and 80s. But he was on a famous show in the 70s and 80s called Chips.
That's right.
California Highway Patrol. And but it was very Hollywood. It was very celebrity oriented. But it was also they sold seats in a certain part of it, like some bleacher seats, which we did not buy seats. But if you did, or you brought a toy, it was a toy drive for the U.S. Marine Corps, which they were represented at the parade as well. But there was tons of like giant balloons, those like float balloons, a lot of different types of lit up vehicles, and marching bands, and all the pomp and circumstance you expect from a holiday parade. It was but very much Hollywood style. And it started at the world famous Chinese theater where they do a lot of film premieres. And you've seen it on TV a million times on Entertainment Tonight, where there's that Chinese theater in the background. There really is a Chinese theater in the background, and there's a whole shopping mall built around it. Actually, it's we went and watched an outdoor film there a few months ago, and it's pretty cool. The Hollywood in general is exactly what you would think it would be. And more, and so, but very much Hollywood style, very much Christmassy, very, 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 very holiday season, and my wife loved it, so that's all that counts, sir.
Excellent. Well, listen, I was going to tell a funny story about the damage that Eric Estrada did to young Latino men like me growing up with his hair, but I won't go into that because
he does have great hair, though.
He does have great hair, and I tried to make my hair look like him in middle school. He parted his hair and stuff, and my hair is just not partable. It's kind of hard to describe. The texture of my hair just doesn't work that way. And I remember going to middle school trying to look like him, and it looked really, really bad. I looked more like, it was
nobody
really
looks
bad.
like Eric. No.
Like
I'm going to say in all fairness, I think they manufactured that hair before he started.
I don't know what
I don't know what's in that hair. I don't think it's all his hair.
I think it takes a lot of people working on it. So it's not something
I think he's had a lot of unnatural help. With that hair. Some extensions.
Something going on there. All right, listen.
It's not normal to look like that.
That's right. When you watch this show, it will drop on December 10th. We want to thank everyone who joins us, who watches us on Facebook and YouTube, and the thousands who listen to us on your favorite audio podcast platform. Please like us, share us, and subscribe to us. Actually, you don't have to subscribe yet, but in 2026, you may have to subscribe. So I'm trying to get into the rhythm of, modern day podcasters. Like us, subscribe to us, and don't forget to share. I guess I got to get into that. If we want to keep up with the times, we are so ahead of our times. This show is on its 8th season. Next year will be the 9th season. So we were doing this before podcasting became what it is today. And I will say, I thought about this last night as I was, thinking about what I knew we were going to talk about today, but. Even if this show, and let me go on the record here, even if this show never hits it as big as some of our competition, like I've had it, and some really, really great podcasts out there, I will say that this has been a wonderful, wonderful experience. It has been therapy for me over the last 8 years. It's gotten me through the Trump era. So I do want to say thank everyone who's followed us, watched us all these years, and hopefully we can bring you some exciting and more interesting content as we go forward. Okay, so today's title is Remove the Regime. We're going to talk about an event that occurred just a couple of weeks ago in Washington, D.C. that I attended, and we'll talk about that. And we'll also throw in a couple of interviews during our commercial breaks that you can see from people all around the country. It was so, for me, it was so inspiring to see people who decided to gather the weekend before Thanksgiving and spend time and effort. There were these 4 ladies who came in from Missouri, who raised money for the trip, and there's all around the country. So there's a lot of people out there who are still trying to fight the fight. So, but before we do, let's jump directly into Barb's current events.
And this is Barb's current events.
All right, here we go, Gersemi. I got three for you. We won't do very much here. The very first one, for those who like hemp, hemp is not just hemp is it's a fiber. It's a product that's made from a plant, a natural plant. Some of also from the marijuana plant, I believe. If I the cannabis plant, I don't know how to properly say that, but. Yes, they're related. And here in the state of North Carolina, it has, I think it was a couple of years ago, they passed legislation to allow it to be grown and to be used for lots of purposes. And there was an amendment that was slipped into that was slipped into the bill to open the federal government a couple of weeks ago. And that amendment was going to close down people's ability to grow hemp within 1 year, which means that if that is not taken out, all of these farmers, especially small farmers who are growing hemp, to sell and so forth, they will not be able to do it. So there was a push to convince the congressional leaders and Senate leaders to pass legislation to take that out. It was put in, I think, by some religious senators or something because they feel like hemp is trying to bypass the ban on marijuana or whatever the case may be. Anyway, I don't know if you have any comments on that, if you're aware of what's going on there. There was a new polling that was just done. It shouldn't be surprising to anyone. And it says that over half of Americans, if they were to rate Donald Trump today, would say that he ranks on either the worst or the second worst president in American history. So over half of Americans, while he's living, believes that he may be the worst or the second worst president ever in American history. That was a new polling that came out. And then also, Donald Trump, released they call it a cryptic text on his, he's been, over the Thanksgiving weekend, I guess he's been, I don't know what's going on. He ate too much turkey or something's going on because he's been posting like 100 to 150 postings a night. This is crazy, y'all. And he's posting that the ballroom may not be finished before he leaves office. He's having some disagreements with the designer or the architect. The architect that he personally handpicked has been pushing back because Trump wants the ballroom to be able to seat over 1,000 people, and it was originally going to only seat like 600 people. And in order to seat over 1,000 people, it's going to look so proportionally wrong compared to the actual White House. And I guess architects, part of their unwritten rule is to never let something overshadow the main building. And so they're pushing back on it. And so as a result of that, it's being delayed. And as a result of that, it will not be finished before he leaves office, which I find it very interesting. So those are the three. Gersemi, do you have any comments or anything to say on those?
Well, I'll tackle the White House thing first because it'll be the easiest. They have to build it to accordance to, since it's a historical building and it's a publicly owned building, they have to go by certain norms for the plans to even get approved. So even though he illegally tore the East Wing down with no permission and no oversight with Congress, getting the thing built is significantly different because they will have to submit building plans before they can actually build on public property. This still has to go through the scrutiny. It still has to be historically competent. It has to go through a lot of guidelines, and what he's proposing would be against the guidelines of the governance of what that building is allowed to look like. And so it can't look significantly bigger than the White House itself. Would look stupid. Not that he cares, because his tacky, sleazy golf motels,
sure,
tacky and gaudy. But it's different when it's a privately owned project versus this is publicly owned. This will be here after he leaves office, and the next president is going to inherit this whenever this happens. And so there's significant rules and governance in place because this is a permanent building and this is publicly owned, and some parts of it is, a couple hundred years old. give or take. There's some serious issues with the way he's doing this, like normal.
Yeah.
The difference between hemp and THC. So actual THC is THC has 0.3% or more THC in it, or what they call traditional marijuana.
Yeah.
A hemp plant has less than 0.3% THC.
Okay.
So it's typically not psychoreactive like weed would be. Basically,
Sure.
hemp's not going to really get you high.
Okay.
It's not. Hemp is grown, like you said, is a natural fiber.
Mm-hmm.
They can make natural plastics out of it. They can make flooring out of it. There is about 100 or so different consumer products that you can make out of hemp. It's a game changer. It also gets us away from oil-based or petroleum-based products. In many cases, it is more sustainable. It's almost 100% sustainable crop. So one of the reasons there's a big lobby against hemp production, and why hemp got pulled off the market about 80 years ago, was the same reason. Logging interests. Different companies are going to lose billions of dollars if hemp farmers are allowed to farm and produce hemp-related products that will replace these consumer products and change the supply chain, because it'll bring down the cost of everything and also use more environmentally sustainable stuff and really change the marketplace for consumer goods. And there's a lot of companies that ain't having it, no matter how much sense it makes, no matter how ethical it would be. You know, and I know some companies are going to fight this and have a powerful enough lobby, which is the same reason we need Citizens United ruling reversed, and we need term limits for everything. Every office, every appointed office, for that very reason. We need people in and out as often as possible, because this is a bunch of crap. Hemp is a viable product. It's not a drug. It's not related to drugs. It is a cousin, and it's a strain of the marijuana plant, but it's the non-smokable, non-edible type. Not all strains of marijuana will get you high. Not the way you think. People are so stupid, and they're using this as an excuse when it's not. Like, nobody's out smoking hemp.
Yeah.
Not as long as THC is available. Who would smoke something that has less THC than 0.3?
Exactly.
It's not going to do anything for you. You might as well smoke your newspaper or something. You know, like you may get high off the fumes of the newspaper more than you will hemp. Hemp is not is consumed that way. It's used for other products, like rope, like twine.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's flooring. It can be turned into flooring, you know, and have a significant uptick for a lot of deals, unless you're in the logging industry. So
how about the data, the survey that's coming out that says that as of today, people that over half of Americans either rank Trump or will rank Trump either the worst or the second or the worst president of all time.
Oh yeah,
surprising.
I mean, in the words of Warwick Tillerson, he's not a distant idiot. He's a fucking idiot. He's a buffoon. You know, he's a big orange buffoon, and this guy is a clown car that was for sale, and you know, he's in the pockets of oligarchs and despots, and you know, that's what the Republican Party needed, because they wanted a guy that would go along with any scheme that will pull any scheme. You know, they needed a willful con artist in this deal that just was so desperate to be a pick me that he'll do any crazy, maniacal, conservative, evil plan. You know, they needed a Snidely Whiplash. They'll tie the damsel to the train track. And Trump is a willing stooge, and he benefits because he can pull all of his scams legally as president of the United States and have fucking immunity according to the Supreme Court. So it's a use situation, and unfortunately, who loses is the American people. Yeah, by having an unfit, unqualified buffoon as our chief executive.
Excellent point. Listen, we're going to take our first break, and during this break, we'll also show a couple of the interviews that we did, or I did, when I was attending the Remove the Regime rally the weekend of the 20th to the 22nd November, this past November, just a couple of weeks ago in Washington, D.C. It was a wonderful rally. Here's some footage of that, but also some commercials about our shows here on the Cannis Media. We'll be right back on Coffee Pan Dulce right after this.
Hey y'all, thanks for watching the Florida shows. They've been wildly successful. Obviously, it's a topic that you guys have enjoyed and wanted to know more of. And we like talking about the dumpster fire. It used to be the state of Florida, and we'll probably talk about it some more this summer. Thanks for watching, y'all.
Bye, y'all. Thanks for watching.
Hey y'all, you can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and your favorite audio podcast platforms. You can catch your special editions of Coffee Pan Dulce, as always. And we appreciate y'all listening. And we're going to do more episodes. We're going to do some zany things in 2025. And most of all, we're going to have lots of fun, as always. Thanks for listening. And look for the new shows. Appreciate it. Hey, y'all. Thanks for watching. And support local Black and brown businesses, including our sponsor, Manolo Bakery. It has some fabulous pastries, food, king cakes, all kinds of specialty cakes, swallows, and much, much more. Some of the best food you eat in Charlotte, North Carolina. Again, Manolo's Bakery, right here in East Charlotte. Thanks for watching.
Hey everybody, hope you're enjoying the Coffee and Pan Dulce Show. This is me, Gersemi, a new host here at the Cannis Media shows. I will be doing the new show, Espera Que, here every Thursdays at 7 p.m. on your favorite podcast platforms, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you like to listen to. So, hope to see you on my show, and hope you have a wonderful day.
Christian Cano here at the Remove the Regime rally in Washington, D.C. Hey, I'm with Khaki at the Remove the Regime rally. So where are you from? Where are you coming in from?
I'm coming in from Sterling, right out by Dulles Airport.
So why are you at the rally?
Because screw Donald Trump. You could say fuck Donald Trump.
Yeah. So what does rallies like this mean to you?
Means we're not going to put up with it. Collectively, we're all going to stand together and fight until we can't fight no more.
You know, I've heard that sentiment while I've been here, and I've been in D.C., and I've been covering rallies all summer long, and it's amazing to me how many people are taking the time to come out to these, you know, especially during college football season and all this kind of stuff. So I'm with Nick here at the Remove the Regime rally in Washington, D.C. So, Nick, why are you here at the rally?
Well, to be perfectly frank, we shouldn't even have to be here. The regime, because it's not a actual presidency, this is a regime. They are here, and they have basically eliminated everybody's rights. I mean, people, generations have fought and died for this democracy, and we're just on the cusp of it. And working people, we have just so much that we need.
All the way here from New York, and I have a message for our Congress people. Do you realize that your career is far going to outlast this regime?
What do rallies like this mean to you?
Oh, everything. Nothing. You can't have change without a revolution, and there's more of us than there are of you. I know which side of history I'm going to land on. So these Congress people are representatives. I'm your constituent. What side of history are you going to land on?
We're here at Remove the Regime rally in Washington, D.C. with the Reese sisters. Is that correct? So listen, what does this rally mean to y'all?
we are here to remove the regime, just like it says. We are from Missouri, and we fight fascism weekly, monthly, every week at the ICE facility in our area. We are out there fighting this regime, trying to stop what's going on. We're very passionate about it, and we decided to bring it straight to the doorsteps of the White House.
So I've noticed so many people coming out and taking their time out on a Saturday. I'm a college football fan, so the fact that they're actually here when there's some great games going on, why do you think people are so inspired to come out to rallies like this?
Because what is happening in our country is unheard of. The things that are happening, Trump has committed 23 impeachable offenses. There are veterans here who have fought for our country, for our freedom, for the Constitution specifically states that every person on American land has rights, and those rights are being violated every day by ICE when they are going out hunting black and brown people and locking them up without due process.
So, you know, I've been to several rallies this summer, and this is the last one that I think that we're going to be attending before the people start filing for office for next year, for Congress and other areas. Do you think rallies like this make a difference to people who are going to be running for office?
Yes, absolutely, they do. You know, statistically, when 3.5% of the population comes out and peacefully protests, that's when change is created. So the more people we can get out here and show them, and we need our representatives to stand with us, and then we know that they're with us and they are serious about changing and fighting this regime.
So Jennifer, we're at the Remove the Regime rally, and what do rallies like this mean to you? You're all decked out. Looks like you're very passionate about this. So what does this mean to you?
This is the only way that I know how to fight fascism. The only way that I know how to make a difference is to use my voice and my body to make as much noise, cause as much disruption as possible. I grew up in a country with the most incredible privileges, the most incredible blessings, and I lived that life knowing that I was blessed and lucky. And in my coming of age and learning of the world and of the atrocities and what we are so lucky to have that so many others don't, I cannot stand for injustice around the world, but I especially can't stand for it here. And this is where I can make my difference. I ask that everybody that has an able body speak and a voice, scream and be heard, because this is the only chance we have, and this is it.
Here at the Remove the Regime rally in Washington, D.C., and look who we find from North Carolina. So what brings you here?
Democracy and loving all people and wanting to make sure that we do everything we can to make sure that all people are seen and heard and respected in this nation.
So look who we find. I saw you last night, and you were a former priest, is that correct?
Correct, yeah. I was a priest in the Russian Orthodox Church for 9 years.
So what brings you here? What brings you here?
I'm mostly here for the food and the really good-looking people. But no, I'm here because this has been brewing for a long time, and we didn't get here by accident. They have been very intelligent and precise in their actions to put a fascist dictator in the White House. None of this has been a plan that has been ongoing.
Sure.
And we have to be strategic and smart and organized if we are going to unravel what has happened. And so moments like this, if we don't get engaged, we're going to lose the entire plot.
Look who we found here at the rally. Earth to Eve out of Miami, is that right?
Yes, it is true. Miami, Florida.
What brings you out here?
Well, the fascists in office, all the atrocities happening, the complete trampling of our Constitution, our civil liberties, and our American people, and I'm pissed, so I wanted to come out here and make that known, and be with everyone and help make that known.
That's a beautiful song. Why is music so important to movements like this? I mean, it's been around, with the Martin Luther King March and all of the marches, the Pride, and so forth. Why is that so important?
I think more than anything, it's morale. It's showing people that we all feel similarly, that we're here. It's giving people an anthem and a soundtrack to the resistance. You don't want to march in silence. And even like the way that you march and we move, it's music in and of itself. And so it unites people. You hear the chanting, that's music. It's all music. And I think that's so important for any movement.
Look who we found. Listen, I saw you last night. What an incredible show. You guys were competing against Wicked. That's incredible.
So you told me today we're competing against Wicked, which I didn't even know there was a sequel to Wicked.
Yeah.
So we brought 600 people away from Wicked, I guess. The sequel of Wicked. No offense to Wicked. It's probably great.
So why is comedy important to movements like this?
So to quote, and I don't think this was, so there was a line in a song that I loved years ago that said "laughing through the fear," and I don't think that guy came up with it. I think he borrowed that, but I think it's a defense mechanism, right? We laugh when we get nervous, and I think it's also the speak truth to power is real, and like if you can speak truth and kind of disguise it as jokes, it's like it's a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine.
Yeah.
I think that's why comedy is important in a time like this for sure, and has historically been.
So listen, I follow you. I've seen your content on social media, and it's incredible. What got you doing this?
Well, I just want to see a romanticism in the country again. We've been up against a fucking wall for so long by a 34-time felon and a rapist. It's time to get back to having the new Coachella again and having fun with the Democrats and the working class again. So that's why I sing these hit songs. I bring the party everywhere. Even if ICE arrests me, I'm out in 2 days and I'm back to partying.
So I know a lot of people follow you, and what you do is great. I mean, it inspires them. I mean, do you ever get fearful when I've seen you like at some of the Republican events and so forth? I mean, does that make you nervous? Do people, afraid for your safety?
Yeah, well, this is November 22nd today, and if we don't remember, John F. Kennedy was assassinated, another masshole like me. I'm from Massachusetts and stuff. And I remember one time his secretary, Ms. Lincoln, was talking to him, and he said, if they're going to get me at church, they're going to get me at church. I'm still going to church. Sure. Like, what am I going to do? I sing funny hip songs. I look like a giraffe. They're going to arrest me. They're going to shoot me like they did in Portland 8 times with pepper balls while I was singing The Doors. But here's the thing, the Republicans and MAGA, I'm just going to say MAGA, because there's some spots I like about the Republican Party, but with MAGA, it's absurdity. It's built on a platform of a WWE Hall of Famer, aka Donald Trump, 2003 WWE Hall of Fame. And when we understand that we're trying to fight fucking valor against absurdity, but when we fight absurdity against absurdity, go up to Donald Trump and be like, oh yeah, Bubba was blown by dawn. In 2 minutes of Epstein's prison video's gone. Oh yeah, they say Bubba was blown by dawn. In 2 minutes of Epstein's prison video's gone. It's long gone. We bring that absurdity like judo. We reverse the energies on to MAGA and Trump. So that's what I'm doing. There's no reason why we can't have a good time again in this country. We've been fighting and playing fucking defense for so long. We have totally forgotten what true progression is anymore. And that's what we're looking for. When people come here, we want them to have a party. I'll use my wrestling voice. Like when people come here, we want them to feel loved and invited. All right? We're having oligarchs put us against each other over fucking trans and immigration law. We're going to civil war over that. Meanwhile, they're pillaging the coffers. Trump has taken $3 billion in his shitty crypto coin, and he distracts the Christian nationalists by having brown people arrested by ICE, just the same way Roman emperors would distract the peasants by having the slaves eaten by lions while Rome burned. So that's why I do it.
Excellent. Nejla, what brings you out here?
I've been coming out here for several months now. I don't want to be anywhere else until our country gets back on track. I believe we are fast forwarding towards fascism. We're really actually already there. And if we want to take our time and be slow about it, it's going to be too late. I'm Iranian. I've already seen this happen, and I see all the signs, and I'm not going to sit down and be quiet and let them take over this country.
Listen, I heard you speaking passionately. What made you come to this event?
Well, any opportunity I get to speak out against Donald Trump, sign me up. But obviously just the amount of people, the group of people here that are out here, I consider myself lucky to be amongst this great group of people that are all united in one specific goal, and that's removing Donald Trump from office. And in addition to that, which is the common theme of this, rights for everybody, civil rights, the Constitution is being trampled on, and we are against that.
So we have a great fall lineup, and we encourage you to tune in to many of our fabulous shows, like our Say show, and many more things in October and November as well. Thanks for watching our rally, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you, everybody, for watching Coffee and Pan Dulce. Jenny and Chris had an amazing talk right there, and this is Yorense from Espera Que. Our show is on Thursdays, 7 p.m. on every podcast places you get podcasts, podcasts, brain fart. But if you want to listen to me doing brain farts and having hot takes and leftist takes and just screaming at the shitty burning world we are living in, come over to Espera Que. You're going to have a fun time.
Welcome back, everyone. So, listen, that was some great footage and interviewing of those who attended the Remove the Regime rally in Washington, D.C. Just to kind of give you a little bit of insight into the Remove the Regime rally. The Remove the Regime rally was launched by the Removal Coalition and its founder, Jessica Denson, in partnership with comedian Cliff Cash. Those who are big fans of Cliff Cash, were able to see him, and they did a wonderful they did some lobbying, which is what I thought was so wonderful about this particular rally and this movement is they actually did the lobbying. They went to offices of congressional and Senate leaders and spoke with them about issues that are very much of their concern. It was grassroots organizations that included American Opposition, FLAIR, Sons of Liberty, Citizens Impeachment, and the DC Handmaid Army. There was such a diversity of people there. They did a comedy show on Friday in Washington, D.C. to kind of raise money. They did it at his old Episcopal church in Washington, D.C. It was a wonderful, wonderful place to have this kind of event. And then Saturday was the actual rally, and then they did kind of a march to Washington on Saturday as well, and they had a concert that evening. But there was a group that actually sang during the rally, and they've been around since the 90s. And I remember them when they first came out in the mid-90s. The group was Dropstick Murphy, and they're kind of I guess they're considered I have a hard time saying this word. Celtic. It's like Irish kind of. Is it pronounced Celtic? I wish I would have asked him, how you actually pronounce this. But I did interview the lead singer during this and asked him, what the rally meant to him. And here's that interview, very brief interview.
So listen, we're here with Ken Casey with the group Dropkick Murphys.
Correct.
So what brings you out? What brings you out here?
Just trying to do our part, man, to take down this regime and inspire others to come out and protest, and inspire other musicians to speak up. And when this is all over, I wanted to be remembered that, Dropkick Murphys was stood with the people.
So what's the last song you did? What was the name of it? It was, I don't know if that was...
First Class Loser. Yeah.
Was that specifically for Trump?
No,
okay.
We had written it before, but man, the lyrics fit him perfectly.
I was listening to it. I was like, my God, this is like perfect. I'm sorry that you have to sing it, on this stage. So listen, you're a Gen Xer. You're a Generation Xer. I'm a Gen Xer. It seems like the Gen Xers aren't as involved as the late boomers and the millennials and what happened to the Gen Xers?
I think that the boomers remember how to protest from maybe the Vietnam era and stuff. And the Gen Xers could do more, but I'll tell you, the youth is what really, you know, not to sound like a boomer myself, but like, you know, we need every age group out here, and you know, things aren't going to change. I think Americans are so accustomed to watching the movies. The good guy wins. Oh, we beat the Nazis in World War II. It doesn't, you know, tell that to everyone who lived under Franco and, you know, in Spain. It doesn't always end well, immediately anyway. So I just hope people, maybe it has to get worse to inspire people. I think you can have positive inspiration and you can have negative inspiration. And people are fed up, though, you know, that's for sure.
Well, listen, it's great to see you out here, and I know you guys are performing later on today. Is that right? You're doing a concert? Are you doing a part of that concert?
No, we're not. We're supposed to play a song at the very end of this one.
Oh, after this one here. Okay.
But they might cut the power.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, listen, good luck. That was a great song. It's great to have you.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you.
All right, so, you know, Gersemi, I know that you and I attended many rallies in 24, 25, my goodness, since I've known you. And I know sometimes these rallies, you know, they seem to not, you know, like the No Kings rallies and that we've talked about, and they don't seem to ever go the next step. You know, what's the ask? What is it that makes people kind of feel good for a while, but there's not really a next step? I was really impressed by this because they were so committed to not only ensuring that people continued and continued to talk to their representatives. They encouraged people to run for office in 2026. They encouraged people, you know, to have these kind of events at the city level, the local level, the county level, and to continue to stand up and you know, and fight the regime, so to speak. And their goal actually is to get Trump out of office one way or another, whether it's through impeachment, whether it's through, you know, whatever it needs to happen is to get him out of office. And so I don't know if you have any comments on this before we go to our last commercial here.
Well, I mean, obviously, you know, I am excited about, you know, the things like the special elections and the off-year elections that we had this fall that were overwhelmingly anti-Trump. And I'm always excited to see a movement that pushes against tyranny. You hope it lasts. You hope it's sustained, because so many 2020 movements didn't. So many Trump era term one efforts died, and they died fast. And they were, the majority of movements like this are usually shallow and plastic banana. Mm-hmm. And that's the truth. They're popular when you're in the fray, but they don't sustain long enough to be significant. Very few to make it to fruition. Kind of like companies, startup companies. Very few startups make it. These startup movements rarely sustain because the people that started them get disinterested or bored, or some change happens. Like, okay, we're good. And the problem with the liberal progressive side is that we don't think long term. I wish we did. Because unfortunately the conservatives do. And the hardline conservatives do. The money interest, the power behind that sustain movements for a long time. I would love to see this movement morph from when we do achieve the goal of removing Trump out of office, whether it's elections or whatever, the 25th, whatever it takes to get him out. There's going to be an era when he's out. He's going to be gone, whether he passes away or no matter how he leaves office.
He's going to leave somehow.
It's probably going to be sooner than later, know, based on the way he looks. There's going to be a time, and it was just like the pushback against Reagan and Bush. There was a time when Bush was old and inept, and he lost the 92 election, and Reagan was, in la la land. He'd been gone mentally for quite a while. Mm-hmm. And Democrats, after Clinton won, seemed kind of lost. Yeah. They almost didn't have a common enemy anymore. And it led to a significant and disappointing losses in 2000 and 2004, because we kind of forgot why we're fighting for. It's not just one person or two people or a regime. Is that to sustain long-term progress, it has to be sustainable, and we have to have long-term goals in mind. My fear is removing Trump is a short-term goal.
Sure.
Even if it takes a few years, that's very short-term.
Yeah.
They've been working against abortion for 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
They've been working against the gays since we popped up our rainbow head. You know, I mean, like, there's, if you think about since Stonewall, especially, that was 1969. That was 56 years ago. They've been fighting against gays and LGBT equality. So let's be very realistic. They sustained a version of segregation against Black Americans for 100 years after the Civil War ended.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about a group of people that just quit when they lose. They keep coming and coming and coming. That's energized body. Liberals and progressives on the left side of things quit pretty quickly.
That's an excellent point.
That's scary.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I get that. That's an excellent point to make. Just because Trump, because he will leave. I mean, he will leave the stage, and we can't just let our guard down because we could be talking about this for the next 20 years or so. But one of the things I found so just me personally, and I know you and I have had these conversations. I'm a Gen Xer. You're a Gen Xer. Hope you don't mind if I share that. I know we've shared it many times.
Yeah,
we're both Gen Xers. I know we look millennial, but we're Gen Xers.
Yeah.
The lead singer for the Dropkick Murphys, Ken Casey. This band was started like in the mid 90s or late 90s, and they're kind of a punk alternative kind of band. But and like I said, it's either a Celtic. Anyway, whatever that term, I can't even pronounce that. So what I found inspiring was when he was singing on there. I immediately, because I wanted to talk with him, and I went to the Google machine, our very expensive research department, and I had to do some research on him. And he's same age as you and I, just looked a couple of years younger than me, and probably around your age, and so forth. And so he's a Gen Xer, and I asked him a specific question about why it seems like Gen Xers, our generation, has seemed to have just kind of like not really been as engaged as maybe the late boomers and the millennials and so forth. And he had an interesting response, but I found it very interesting because him and his band have an opportunity to reach out to those of us who grew up in the 80s and the 90s and grew up with these very progressive groups that were very progressive for the late 80s, Guns N' Roses and Kiss, who dressed up in makeup, and Twisted Sister, and all of these, Culture Club, and the New Wave movement. All of this music movement was pretty progressive compared to, let's say, the 60s and 70s type of music. And so for me, growing up as a young Latino or Tejano, but also as a young gay male, I had a lot of hope that my generation was going to be the generation, the pretty in pink generation, that generation that was going to be the generation that fought for more progressive things. And then, and I know you and I have this conversation, and then the 9/11 happened, and suddenly they all became like born-again Christians, or many of them became born-again Christians. And it became worse than the moral majority. They became like very Moms Demand Action Moms for Liberty. They became the MAGA women, all of these MTGs. They became people like that. So I was inspired that he did not change that way, because you and I don't often see that. When I posted that I had attended this event on my personal Facebook page, our wonderful troll, which I love to death, a former county commissioner in Mecklenburg County, immediately was like, I don't know if he just like immediately, as soon as I post something, less than 2 minutes after I posted it, said, Dropkick Murphys used to be such a great band. Now they become so lame and irrelevant. And I know the reason he posted that was because they were singing at this rally. But I find it so interesting that he was able to trigger this person. And we need more Dropkick Murphy groups out there standing up and fighting that can talk to the Gen X generation. So I don't know if you have any thoughts about that.
Well, I think first of all, I think a lot of Gen Xers caved into conservative movements or got born again or whatever.
Sure.
Partially probably because of the debauchery of their youth.
Yeah.
And they partied so hard they had to get clean sober. Most clean and sober programs are run by churches. So
exactly.
Find Jeebus to get their shit together.
That's true.
I've got a funny story that I probably can't tell on air, but I came out of the closet as trans about 2 years before my class reunion in 2018. And when I came out, I didn't think about going to class reunions as myself. I didn't even really dawn on me. You don't think about those sort of things, like just survival's the thing. But, I was a Gen X class, and so when I logged on to the Facebook page for my graduating class's class reunion in 2018, about a month or two before the event, I said, hey, my name's different. This is who I am. This is who I used to be, and kind of deal. Then I had some people reach out to me, and one of them was this very, let's just say, morally casual girl that I went to school with, that hung out with, and things like that. And she was a big born again. In fact, she said hi to me, but then she realized what I was or what I am, and immediately blocked me. But I find it ironic that the two big born agains both didn't, or three of them from my graduating class, wanted nothing to do with me. And they were the exact opposite back in the day. They were wild children, very progressive, and how middle age had just taken all the life out of them. But I think for a couple reasons, I think most conservatives go conservative, or most people that go conservative that were wild when they were younger, like a Kirk Cameron, for example, that did Growing Pains, and now has become a big religious nut wacko and says wacky shit. I think for one, it pays better. I think two, a lot of these are talentless hacks that have to go conservative because their personality is their only talent. That saying crazy things is the only fallback.
Exactly.
Nothing left because they didn't. I think Cameron really didn't have a career after Growing Pains.
Yeah.
And he's a good actor. He's a D-lister. He's got a cute face, cute face, and kind of young. Now when he's old, he's not so much. Yeah. And rage and crookery and fuckery really fucks up your face.
True.
Now he's middle aged and significantly uglier than he was when he was young, when he was a teenager, early 20-something. And he's got these wacky ideas and all these conspiracy theories, but it's all he has. He found Jeebus after probably years of, a lifestyle that was probably full with parties and money, and once Hollywood figured out that he's a no talent, nobody wouldn't go see him in a movie. So he had to grab the Bible, thump it a little bit, and start going with the cause, because it doesn't take much talent to scare people. Yeah. And that's what the conservative movement does, is just scare the shit.
What I hope and I pray over the next couple of years, even though I along with you have preached this many times, that it's time for the late boomers and the late bloomers and boomers and the Gen Xers to start stepping aside and letting the millennials and the Gen Xers create policy and do things, because they're the ones that are going to have to live with those policies, and we need to support them and do what we need to. But I would really like not only other bands that were around in the 80s and the 90s to also step up to the plate and speak out. I would like Tears for Fears, Depeche Mode, a lot of these other new wave modern bands. And I would like for them to come out and say, "Hey, listen, this is not who we were. This is not who we wanted to be as we grow older."
I think
I don't want. Not everyone's Kid Rock,
Yeah.
It's.
I mean, speaking of talentless hacks, but you look at somebody like a Cyndi Lauper that just received an award the other day that talks about the significance of women's rights and LGBT rights.
Sure.
There's been not every one of them grew old and sour. The people that stood the test of time, honestly, that were talented people,
are still talented.
Funny how progressive they are, because they actually understand the idea of progress, because progress is what created the job for them.
Exactly.
For you to be a musician in this society and to be able to speak freely, you need progress.
Yeah.
If you revert back to the old, those are the ones that are talentless hacks, because they know, well, I can't have a career and I'm a talentless hack, so why should anybody else?
Exactly.
Exactly. And they're the jackasses that are the Fonzanoons that get up on TV and radio and bitch about things. And we all know their personality and the kooky things they say is all they got.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
They have no talent.
Yeah, excellent point. If you like what you hear from Gersemi, she does have a show that comes on every Wednesday at 11:30. It's called Two Queers in a Truck. Join her every Wednesday at 11:30 on your favorite audio or video podcast platform. Listen to what she has to say. This last commercials are talking about her show and some other shows. We'll be right back.
Hey, y'all. Thanks for watching our spring shows and sticking with us. And we've got a fabulous summer lineup. I hope y'all are excited as I am. And let's enjoy our summers. Hot Girl Summer 2024. See y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Hi, everybody. This is Yorense from the LatinX Show over here. All I'm here is doing a little quick PSA. Use this summer to do volunteer work. Go to your nearest YMCA. Go to your nearest homeless shelter. Go to whatever community services or programs that you can help out and volunteer. Because right now, we have a bunch of fascist pieces of shit trying to rip apart our country and rip apart the people, our communities, by spreading hate and bigotry. The best way to combat it is, one, working in your community and standing strong to show that you are strong and you're here to help out others. Two, combat misinformation. If you hear bullshit, first research and make sure if it's true or not. If it is not true, call it out. If it is true, get the facts. Be knowledgeable of it, because it might come out later. So always stand against that. And three, fuck fascists. Stand against them. Make them feel uncomfortable. There is too many people out there feeling like they can say the hard R or say slurs or be violent. Make them understand that a lot of people died to make sure this hatred and bigotry does not exist. All our civil rights workers, all the people who restored normandy, everybody who fought against intolerance and hatred, they died and worked their asses off to stop this. So follow in their footsteps and stop this madness. This is Yorense again from LatinX, and all I can say is be there for your community and stand up for what's right. Fuck fascism and have a wonderful day.
Hey, y'all. Thanks as always for listening to Coffee Pan Dulce. And guess what? As part of our Cannis Media family of shows, we have a sister show that's been running alongside the Coffee Show for 6 years, 6 seasons. And it's Two Queers in a Truck. And in fact, we've been on air, as it says right behind Christian, as we record this, in case you're watching the video version of this. It's exciting. It's a little different. It comes more from obviously the queer perspective, because it's Two Queers in a Truck. And we invite you to listen to it. You don't have to be queer to listen. And I promise it most likely will not give you scabies. I can't 100% verify that, but it's just a medical rumor started by me, actually. But anyway, come out and check us out on our sister show, Two Queers in a Truck, and all the exciting 2025 new shows on the Cannis Media family. As always, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Up next is Two Queers in a Truck with Jenny and Christian. And hope you guys tune in. We'll see you in about 15 to 20 minutes. Thank you.
Welcome back. Don't forget to join Gersemi's show, Two Queers in a Truck, and all the shows that we have, the ones that are still going. So, all right. We're going to jump directly into the Pendejo Chronicles.
And this is the Pendejo Chronicles.
Okay, the Pendejo of the week is no surprise. It's Taco McCankle Tits. He wins again over the Thanksgiving weekend, which was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and even I would even include Sunday and Monday. That long weekend that many of us just went through. Apparently, he ate something that didn't agree with him because he posted between 100 to 150 postings a night. Think about that, Gersemi. I mean, 3 or 4 postings is a lot for one day, right?
So,
I mean, 150 a night.
Clearly, he had some help because the dude's like bobbleheading in meetings in the middle of the day, and so either that or we saw the first terms pharmaceutical thing from they got released.
Doctor.
Doctor office.
Yeah.
And Dr. Ronnie Jackson provided a lot of pharmaceuticals, especially on the narcotic side. It seems like he's almost in a narcotic rage. And especially towards the end of his life, for him to sustain it, he's got to be on something.
Yeah.
And to see those kind of postings in the middle of the night, I'm going to say our current president has a good chance that he's on something to really speed that up because I've been around people on uppers and they'll do that. In the middle of the night, they'll become night owls because, shit's going through the system.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, and I also think he's probably getting a little help with AI too. I think somebody's probably helping him. One of his buddies,
I'm sure.
one of his tech bros that put him in office is probably getting him some large generative things that he can just pump into, Twitter and all the other social medias and just rage and keep the threads going. So I think there's more to it than that. I think it's better looking through chemistry and probably a little bit of technology because, he's an idiot.
I know that we are preaching to the choir. If you're watching this show and if you follow us, we're definitely preaching to the choir, unless you just like the abuse, which I love you also. So thank you very much for helping our algorithms and so forth.
I don't teach him.
Exactly.
You wouldn't come on and get flogged by me. I mean, I am wearing a late.
Yeah, most people pay a lot good money for that. We're doing it for free. So
some people pay double. But I will say this.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's doing it.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
When it all said and done, if he does get removed because he's unfit, they can use this as evidence. Like, the internet's forever. Even if he takes it down, it's already been screenshot and recorded and downloaded. This goes to show how unfit the son of a bitch is, because all they got to do is look at Biden Obama's remarks, even their current remarks, and you can tell the difference between a sane human being like Obama or Biden, former presidents, and some Fruit Loop jacked up on flippies and floppies and a whole bunch of other things.
I don't know. Maybe it was pecan pie or something.
Normal.
That's exactly what I want to make sure everyone understands. This is bizarre. This is just crazy shit. Crazy shit.
Like, this is the kind of thing we need him to do. Like,
yes.
At the end of the day, he should have somebody in his ear saying, "You need to."
Yes, and
settle it down a little bit.
Exactly.
You gotta have the Epstein list going, and
you got the Epstein MTGs even against you. I mean, this is
not doing him any good.
Yes,
so I'm glad he's doing it. It should just sink that much quicker because it's kind of like the emperor has no clothes.
Yes,
situation.
You make an excellent point. The worst thing he could do right now
is flame on.
The worst thing you could do is just remain quiet.
Yeah.
Because then people would go, oh, he's getting normal.
Yeah.
He's that's leadership, and he can't do it. You're right.
Oh,
good, excellent point.
He's like Roger
Excellent
Rabbit when he hears shaving haircut. He has to do 6 bits.
Exactly.
He can't control himself.
Yeah.
Because he's a narcissistic fool.
Yes.
There's no way he can't not do it because he's that immature.
Excellent.
Even at his age. So, we got an 80-year-old that has the maturity of a 4-year-old.
Yes.
And the attitude of a 13-year-old idiot. And it's great to see him do his epic meltdown still. I'm glad he is doing it, even if it's probably AI assisted.
Yeah.
Clearly the AI knows how to write like an idiot too. Like, write it for dummies. There must be an AI for everything. But the great thing is he's doing it, and he's going to, at the end of the day, like I predicted in 2019, he will be his own worst enemy.
Yeah.
And Republicans will bring him down. They have to. They have to.
Yep. Okay. All right. And we're going to jump, we're going to finish up with the Jenny Award.
And this is the Jenny Award.
All right. The hero of the award is North Carolina Attorney General Jeff Jackson. He has just announced that he is going to be filing a lawsuit against Duke Energy, the big energy company based out of North Carolina, because they are trying to raise rates 15% for people who their customers. 15% increase in rate increase is what they're asking for, and I believe it's been approved by the commission, the utility commission. But what's really important about this, and this is something that you have talked about, Gersemi, before. There was an article that was just released in the Charlotte Observer that talks about the increase of these data centers around North Carolina that we don't even know how many there are. I think there's up to like 20 data centers, and the amount of energy and water that they use. And the reason they're coming to North Carolina is because we have a lot of energy and we have a lot of water. We have a lot of groundwater. States like Texas and some other states, Georgia, Alabama, they're running out of groundwater. Well, we have, I think, 70 years worth of groundwater still. And they need a tremendous amount of groundwater to cool their systems and so forth. And so,
like Texas and Georgia, they have, North Carolina has about 6 urban counties and 94 very rural counties.
Yes, exactly. And that's where they're putting them. Yeah.
And they're going to put them in the very rural, very remote, because these things are huge, by the way.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen one, they're massive buildings. And so they have to be built in a rural area.
Exactly.
But the people that live around it, they pay a very high environmental price.
Yes.
They absolutely have almost no water pressure.
And that may be the new when we first moved to North Carolina about 12 years ago, the big issue was the toll road, the I-77 toll road issue. It was such a big issue that it was not only a big issue with Republicans and Democrats, but it was such a big issue that it was said the reason that Governor Cooper beat the Republican governor, whatever his name was, I can't remember his name. Anyway, the Republican governor lost by not a very big margin, and he lost basically because all of the voters within that I-77 corridor, they turned against the Republican governor, and they voted for Cooper, and that was the reason that he was kicked out of office. I believe that this issue, data center issue, could be one of the ways that the Republican House and the Republican Senate could also flip, because they're the ones that are agreeing to all of this. And many of their voters live in rural areas. And I believe if you're going to be a Democrat running in the next couple of years, this is a great issue to run on. So anyway, I do applaud the Attorney General, Jeff Jackson, for filing this lawsuit, because he is actually doing what Attorney General should be doing, and is protecting the citizens of North Carolina. So applaud him. And very rarely do I get to applaud Jeff Jackson. So I just thought,
and he's scandal free, unlike the
exactly. He's actually all right. Hey,
human being.
Yeah, we went way over this episode, and I do thank everyone. Once again, I want to applaud the Remove the Regime rally, and please go to the removetheregime.com. Also, I believe it's removetheregime.org. Anyway, just Google Remove the Regime, donate to them, see what they're doing in the future. Follow them. If you're a big Dropkick Murphys fan, they're actually coming to the city of Charlotte in February. They're coming February 22nd. They also are going. They're doing a tour in 2026. Go visit them, support them, support their music, and that's it. So our next episode that you will see next week is our annual Festivus 2025. So we'll be back next week with the Festivus show. Gersemi already has her list of grievances. Is that right? You're all right.
Oh,
so
they come naturally to me, so it won't really be a struggle. It's not like I'm dreaming yet.
I wish you guys would go back and watch some of our when we used to meet in person, our Festivus shows. So these are really fun shows. Yeah. So anyway, we'll see you next week, y'all. I guess we'll dance out. Bye, y'all.
Hey y'all, thanks for watching Coffee and Pan Dulce, and as always, be safe out there during this holiday season. In some places there's not the greatest weather in the world. Fortunately, I live in Hollywood now, so I don't worry about that. But I will say in the December deal, enjoy it, but enjoy it in a safe way. Arrive alone, don't drink and drive. Have a great holiday season. See you next week. Bye y'all.
Bye y'all.
Hey y'all, thanks for listening to Coffee and Pan Dulce. And one of our big things is that if you've missed any of our other shows, we are on Facebook, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple for the most part, and a bunch of other audio podcast platforms. So if you've missed us, come back. The water's fine. Dip on in. It's 85 degrees here in my imagination. But anyway, we have 332 episodes in the tank. You can pull up any of them. And most of all, we have fresh ones dropping most weeks. And we got 3 more shows coming. Be excited. But as always, thanks for listening to Coffee and Pan Dulce. And look forward to the 2025 season. Thanks, y'all.
Hi, y'all.
Next up, thanks for watching Coffee and Pan Dulce. Next up is 2 Queers and a Track. Stay tuned.
Coffee and Pan Dulce. How's that? Coffee and Pan Dulce.
Sounds great.
You sounded like a telenova. I mean,
I'm trying this. All I have to say is go. Yes.
As a non-Spanish speaker.
We go. Okay, the second segment is going to be really short because I'm going to include just like 3 interviews in there, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to introduce we'll talk briefly about the Remove the Regime. I'll kind of tell it what it was about, and then we'll take a break. I interviewed the lead singer of Dropkick Murphys who sang at this, and I'll tell you a funny anecdote with what's his name? What's county commissioner? What's the one that I talked about last time that had a comment about something? Matthew Ridenhour. All right, I'll throw that in there. All right, we'll come back. All righty, give me 1 second. Okay, then we'll come back. Okay, we're just going to jump directly into Pendejo and Jenny, and we'll end because we've gone over on this one. Here we go.
Coffee and Pan Dulce. How's that? Coffee and Pan Dulce.